Hello friends, my name is Wasim. Welcome to my channel WK in UK. So today's subject is very simple. We just started 2026, but as you know, most of the time we follow a financial year calendar, which means April to March. That actually means your appraisals are due, your promotions are due. So I thought let me cover this subject, and this is all about how to get promoted in 2026. And I identified it as five essential skills. And in the end, I'm also gonna touch upon that a reality check for you. That if you need to check yourself, where do you stand today? There are some pointers which you can judge yourself. Well, where does this data come from? So, as most of you know, I run an executive search firm which is called Productiva Group. I'm based out of London. So, during my interaction with leaders across the geographies, especially in US and European markets and Indian markets, specifically these three geographies. So I keep talking to the managers, I keep talking to the senior managers, I keep talking to the CXOs. And this particular data, this particular video is based on those conversations which I have been having in entire January. Actually, I took a month to compile this data. So let's talk about it. So we're going to touch upon five essential skills which is required today. And in the end, I will talk about a reality check. So let's talk about the first skill. And I personally feel, and as per those executives who I spoke to, we all believe that this is the most essential skill, which is human-centric and soft skills. So what do we mean by it? I mean, now artificial intelligence is taking over a lot of data and a lot of technical tasks. But there are several unique human skills which are very important to any leadership. So if you talk about board, if you talk about senior leaderships like CXOs, they look into these skills. They feel that these are very critical skills for any manager to get promoted, any leader to become senior leader. So which are the very first is EQ, which is, we call it emotional intelligence and empathy. So, the world is very tough today. It's really fractured, hybrid. Leaders need to understand and respond, to the emotions, fears and needs of their teams to foster trust and reduce burnout. So the senior leaders believe that somebody who can understand emotional intelligence, who can understand and who can empathize after understanding a person is something which is very important to an organization. So EQ is a very important skills. And next one is, of course, human movement, we call it in leadership. So moving beyond just the grand gestures, organizing a big party for somebody. The top leaders will be defined by small, intentional and caring connections with their staff. So it's no more that, I'm a big leader, I'll give bonus to everybody, management will recognize, I'll be the next one to get, the leadership roles. It's no more that, kind of a pleasing people around. It's about understanding, showing the human touch around. And next is, again, it's all coming under the human-centric soft skills. So next is another very critical area, active listening and curiosity, a genuine curiosity about others. So what do you mean by active listening? Most of the time, we keep talking about as a leader that, boss, I need this by today, I need this by tomorrow, I need this by this weekend, we need to do all these things. But honestly, are we really listening to our staff? Are we really listening to our teams? And this is what the senior leadership look. And they really, they want you to balance it out. They want you to listen to their teams. And this is teams feedback, which actually makes you a better leader and which actually, all the top management is somehow noticing it. So for that, active listening and curiosity, a genuine interest in what do they do, genuine interest in how they do that, and genuine interest in what is in it for them. Every time as a manager, as a senior person, we keep saying that I want this, I want that, I want this, and this is how I want. So we define process, we define people, we define how it is to be done in the end. But are we really listening? Are we listening that what is in it for your staff? What is in it for your team? So that's a very critical skill. And the last one is, of course, collaboration and conflict resolution. So collaboration is, least to say about it, especially when we are in a hybrid environment. Half the team is not coming to the office. Even if people come to the office, they come twice a week, thrice a week, or many a times need basis. So collaboration is becoming a very tough game. So collaboration, conflict resolution, because people are not talking physically to each other. Somebody says something on email, somebody sends a WhatsApp message, somebody says something in a team, and then because we are not emotionally bonded that closely, so there are a lot of conflicts which are coming up. So a leader is looking into you when they look upon and they compare multiple people for promotion. They really look upon these skills. As I said, the first is emotional intelligence or empathy, whatever we call it, human movement or human touch leadership, somebody who understand and care for the human emotions, and active listening and curiosity in their team. The team has to give that genuine feedback that yes, my boss really takes genuine interest in me and my ideas. And the last one, as I said, a conflict resolution and collaboration. So these are the four quintessential, skill set which any leader is looking into you. When April comes and your promotion comes, they will be doing kind of a soft judgment on this, that human-centric and soft skills. That's why I have put this as upfront. This is a very, very important skill set. If you are looking for promotion, if you're looking for leadership, if you're looking to grow in a corporate ladder, this is something which you need to master. Okay, let's come to the second point. The second point is something which is, I would say, a world's demand, market's demand. This is something, it was not there before. Nobody has heard it last year even. I mean, if we were talking about skills last year, I don't think so this will come as up as this, which is artificial intelligence and digital fluency. So AI literacy is no longer just for the IT department. It is a foundational requirement for all leaders now. So we can't say that, no, sorry, I'm in a production environment, or I'm a finance guy, or I'm just a operations fellow. Why do I need to bother about artificial intelligence and digitization in my organization? So as a leader, if you're looking for promotion, if you're looking for a future positive pathway upward, so any senior leadership, any board member, any CXO will look out for these 3-4 areas in terms of technology, you can call it, or digital fluency, you can call it. Out of which the first point which I want to talk about here is artificial intelligence innovations and strategy. So it's no more just a IT department or a tech department's responsibility. You need to come up with ideas. You need to come up with use cases and say, this is how I should define innovation in my organization. See, there are larger part of organization, then there are small, islands we call it, or we can call it clusters and departments. So you may be owning a small department here, you may be owning a small team or a larger team, doesn't matter. But in your umbrella, what is the AI innovation and strategy? What is your stand on this? That's a very important point. Any leader will look into you when you talk about promotions. Next one is very important, and I think this has picked up only in last 2 to 3 quarters. Of course, this has been there for some time, but the pickup, when you say it's only for last, I would say 2 to 3 quarters, it has come up very prominently, which is agentic workflow management. So, it's like hiring your own team members, hiring your own assistants, intelligent assistants around, which can speak, which can listen, which can analyze, which can do tasks, whatever you want. That's what we call it, agentic workflow is. So you can make an agent who can just keep checking your emails, and you can trigger it, you can define it in such a way that it can come up and tell you what is important. You can also appoint an agent which can go and hit your database of sales, for instance, and come up with a report every morning on your table. So lead management, marketing, operations, finance, anywhere agentic workflow can be implemented. So this is very important for all of you to learn how to manage, trust, and collaborate with autonomous artificial intelligence agents, because this is where you will find today the digital workers in your organization. And if you're not understanding this, if you don't know how to define it, how to make use of it, I think you are in trouble. if you want to be a leader today in 2026, you need to master these areas. Yes, it takes time, but I think if you really focus on it, there's nothing very tough to implement. It's somewhere close to what we used to do, automation, by having various tools. This is also one of the tools to automate your work. Next is the data stewardship or ethics we talk about. So, a data is very key here. Everybody knows it. We have been talking about data for ages, for decades. At least I've been talking about it for the last 10-15 years. So everybody talks about data in a very different way, and we have seen some of the best tools around the world, like Hyperion and like Cognos. Hyperion taken over by Oracle, Cognos taken over by IBM. But end of the day, data ethics is very critical. The data has to be secure, unbiased, and compliant, and very strong focus on ethical deployment. So any small nitty gritty in this, any small leeway in this is what the top management is looking out. They look upon this as an ethical breach. So it's very critical that how do we communicate and how do we manage these ethics on data. So this is the point number 2, which was about artificial intelligence and digital fluency. Just to summarize it again, we talked about artificial intelligence innovation and strategy, the use of agentic workflow management, data stewardship, ethics, and communication. These are very critical factors if you are looking for a promotion, if you are looking forward to be a leader in 2026. I think you need to master these skills. Now let's go to point number 3. So point number 3 is again, you can call it a soft skill, you can call it a human skill. It's a very important skill. It's about strategic and adaptive thinking. So what do you mean by adaptive thinking? Strategic, of course, we all keep hearing about strategic as a word, but adaptive means any situation, any circumstances, anywhere we can adapt ourselves. We can bring up the thoughts and we can kind of manage the situation accordingly. Let me explain it further. Just the 3 pointers within it. First is a strategic clarity in ambiguity. So which is basically ability to set directions and provide confidence while facing incomplete information. So, this is what the adoption means is most of the time we don't have a real clarity. We don't have 100%, information or the right data from all the directions, which will help you make a decision, a quick decision. So which is what basically creates kind of a mental ambiguity, a kind of indecisiveness. So that is where your thought process and your adaptive thinking comes, and you take a decision. Okay, 70-80% data is getting into that direction, let's take a decision towards it. Next is about adaptability and learning agility. So how quickly you adapt and and learn, how agile you are about it. So I think it's not about learning, it's more about unlearning. And this is really in New York, not New York, honestly, it's a Bridgewater based New Jersey based CEO who gave me this input that today's world, people who are 40 plus, they really need to unlearn a lot of things. And when we are talking about promotion, this is going to play a very important point, that how quickly you can unlearn. The way you have been working in last decade, that's not the way you're going to work next year. It's changing so quickly. So everybody needs to adapt this. Everybody needs to be agile to accept all these realities, and how you can quickly unlearn your outdated work practices, outdated data practices, outdated management tactics, outdated client reach, outdated customer success process, outdated marketing activities. Lot of things we need to change ourselves. So unlearning is a very critical skill today. And I think, people need to teach about this, especially these MBA institutions, engineering institutions, all the undergrads need to teach some way that how do we quickly unlearn and learn the better ways of doing things, the similar things. And another important point is, today everybody's talking about green earth. We are all talking about, the human perspective of earth. So long-term sustainability, ESG, which we call it, acceptance of this, understanding and taking it into cognizance and then moving forward is very important skill as CXOs are looking into a human being. So how sensitive you are about net zero, how sensitive you are about lights when office goes and you switch it off, how sensitive you are about using some kind of organic stuff, some kind of a, using things which are more green ways. So you need to keep talking about, you need to keep championing it in your own organization. I've seen a lot of people, wasting a lot of things around, bringing the right kind of a food, and, sharing things around. So these are very, very critical part. People take it very lightly. Oh, I'm in sales. What do I have to do about it? So, adopting or merging two trips together, taking one trip less, kind of managing it, things like this, and then, kind of portraying it to your team management that, boss, I took this decision because of, keeping ESG in mind. So this is what I call it overall strategic and adaptive thinking. And trust me, this is essence of, my discussions with some of the top people in this world who are, very well-known leaders. They are leading some of, like three of them are basically leading multi-billion-dollar conglomerates in US. So strategic clarity and ambiguity, adapting and learning agility, and long-term sustainability, always keeping these 3 points in mind. This is what makes you a better strategic and adaptive thinker. And this is one very critical, skill set you need to accept and, process to be promoted in 2026. So these are the 3 points we talked about. Let's talk about the fourth one. So fourth one is, again, talent development and culture. Very human stuff. Talent development and culture. So we say, end of the day, when you want to get promoted, somebody is there who's replacing you. So it means there's a team member you're going to promote so that you get promoted. So that's how the process goes. So who has this onus? Who has this ownership of this? The first point here is upskilling, coaching, and mentoring. So I always tell my team members who are looking for a leadership. I said, boss, you need to make a mini me. So if there is a junior Wasim who can take over the part of my role, I will be definitely going and rising up. So that's very, very important. So somebody says, I want a promotion as a designation, I want to handle a team. The first question I personally ask is that who's the team member you think you can take your place? So this is how the world goes. So if you want to get promoted, be ready to promote someone. So upskilling is very, very critical. As we've discussed about in artificial intelligence and digitization area, a lot of new things are coming up. So we need to actively developing this next generation of leaders and nurturing a high trust, inclusive, and psychologically safe culture. So a culture of upskilling, culture of coaching, culture of mentoring. A lot of upskilling is required today in technical terms, in process terms. We are not doing things the way we were doing last year. Forget about last 10 years. Things are changing so fast. Today the way we do banking is totally changed. I mean, you look at it last 3 years, and if you talk about India, for instance, it is going so fast. Nobody needs cash anymore anywhere. They don't need credit card. They just need a mobile for that matter. And you touch a mobile and you do UTI payments. So the way things are moving around is super fast. We are in a very fast highway. We are on a bullet train highway, as I call it. It's no more a train, no more a underground train. It's a bullet train highway. The way the speed, the technology, and the things moving around. So the technology is, what is the impact of technology here? I mean, since you touch upon it, basically the technology impact is the process. It directly impacts the processes. Because of technology, we are able to cut short many things together. Something which could be 5-step, 10-step work, which is becoming now 2-step, 3-step work. So that's where the difference is. So we need to focus on upskilling, coaching, and mentoring. And if you talk about your promotions, your leadership is looking into you, whether you are having these qualities under you. Are you able to develop this talent around you and develop a culture of work culture around you? Next point in the same talent development and culture area is empowering through delegation. So, you have to shift from doing and just leading by delegating responsibilities, not just tasks, but to foster ownership. So you need to start creating, as I said, small cluster within your team. Okay, this person, I will make sure that he does this part and he does it well. Another person takes this part and does it well. And so and so and so. So empowering people through delegation of works and then monitoring it and encouraging them, developing a high trust environment, an inclusive environment, and making them psychologically very safe. That kind of a culture development. This is what I wanted to talk about in talent development and culture point. I think this is a very, very important skill, which is anybody, if I have to promote someone, I will look into. Last point, let's talk about it, is personal effectiveness and executive presence. Good point, right? Personal effectiveness and executive presence. So, leading by example in wellness. Yes, it's no more just about the work. So, modeling sustainable work boundaries to prevent burnout within the team. So, wellness is becoming such a critical aspect. The mental health, stress management, overall health management, it is really impacting the entire workforce today. So we need to lead it by an example. We need to make sure that we create an environment and work boundaries which basically encourage a better mental health and prevent the burnout within the team. For example, the deadlines has to be a little bit more adjusted and be practical about it. So many a times, we were given, okay, 3 days, we have to come up with a proposal and submit it to the client. And I know it's a 10 days work. We need to really disturb 10-15 people in the team to make it deliver in that time. As they say, you can't have 3 Chinese women to come up with a baby in 3 months. What takes 9 months, it takes 9 months. So we need to start accepting the realistic guidelines, realistic, boundaries, and promote such in the team. So, yes, everybody puts a pressure on you, but end of the day, top management, they will make you responsible. That boss, your team, 2 people resigned, for example, that they're saying that, the stress is too much in this team. So we need to take care of wellness, and it starts with you, how you handle yourself. Are you promoting certain things around? Like, for example, if you see my LinkedIn and some of my videos also, I talked about it. Stress management is such an important topic today. And how do we manage it, and it directly impacts your mental health. It directly impacts your, diseases like heart and diabetes. All these challenges comes up. And how do we manage it? Like nature walks, being with friends and family, having weekend means weekend, So all those challenges, are there in this life. So you need to lead by example when it comes to wellness. Next is ownership and result oriented mindset. So you need to demonstrate yourself, first of all, accountability for both positive and negative outcomes. Every time things will not be positive, the world doesn't go in one singular fashion. What goes up comes down, not just the Newton's law. In reality, the life is always a curvy. Very few lucky people you can see. Not everybody is a Warren Buffett, right? So this is what we call it, ownership and result oriented mindset. We need to demonstrate accountability for both positive and negative outcomes and make sure that this culture we bring up in our team as well. And the last point in this is reverse mentoring. So what do you mean by reverse mentoring? They're demonstrating humility by seeking knowledge from younger, tech savvy or more junior colleagues to bridge skill gaps. So many a times, I'm sure all of you would have seen it, not just me. Many a times I learn a lot from my junior colleagues, and they really teaches me some of the very, very important, areas. Like, for example, usability of generative AI. I learned it from my son. And some of my team members told me, how do we reach out better than, reach out to the executives than just the LinkedIn. So there are better ways of using LinkedIn. There are better ways of going beyond LinkedIn. So there are certain things which new generation have really cracked it better than us. But why can't we accept it? So this is what I call it, reverse mentoring. Honestly, this word is also coined by a very, very good person from India. He's a very senior leader, and I really, really respect him like a guru of mine. So he coined this word for me, that reverse mentoring. So generally we try to give gyan to others. What about taking gyan for 10 years, 20 years younger than us? Are we able to do it? Can we accept it? Can we adapt it? So this is what I generally wanted to talk about in personal effectiveness and executive presence. So how do you make it present, to your team leaders and say that, yes, I am ready for the promotion today. So these are the 5 points I just wanted to touch upon. Let me summarize it one by one. So first I talked about human-centric and soft skills. Then I talked about artificial intelligence and digital fluency. Third, I talked about strategic and adaptive thinking. adaptive thinking, sorry. Fourth, I talked about talent development and culture. And finally, I talked about personal effectiveness and executive presence. I hope you got this and I hope you will benefit this. I really would suggest you to go through this video one more time. You're not going to get this in one point. Read these slides carefully. I'll make sure that these slides are available for you. Anybody want to have it, please send an email to me. I would love to share it with you. And let's talk about readiness. That how to prepare for a promotion. Are you ready? It's a reality check. So first is audit your skills. So conduct an honest gap analysis against these 2026 requirement, focusing on where your hard and technical skills meet soft human skills. So yes, technically you may be prepared. Are you ready with the soft skills? So when I say technical skills, I talked about like agentic AI, workflows, for instance. But the soft skills, can you show the empathy? Can you really take care of yourself as an example? Can you lead it? Can you help others managing their stress? So that's about auditing your skills, which is hard skills as well as soft skills. Next is seek sideway experiences. When I say sideway experiences, honestly, this comes in a physical work environment better. I remember I used to work, and that's where my first job was, Hero Motors. And we used to produce a bike called Hero Puck. And I used to be in EDP department those days back in Delhi NCR. Ghaziabad was a factory, the 10,000 people work environment. And that's where the real learning I felt was, because I used to handle 2-3 department, which was service, dispatch and exports. So, we always cross learning, talking to an engineer, seeing how it works. Sometimes we used to go and test the bike. So they will put a full tap on top of a handle of a bike and we just drive it in a very beautiful road and just come back and see that how, the petrol is used effectively, what is the speed, all those errors we used to pick. So a lot of skill. Just one example I gave, technically speaking, like, somebody came to implement barcode solution in late 90s and I was the first person to come and volunteer and just try to learn the new skills. So these things works when you're in a physical environment, but you need to, really prepare yourself that how you can learn sideways, how you can learn things which are credible and understand across the organization, cross-functional projects, learning something, taking initiative to learn something which is beyond your work, which is beyond your standard work environment. Very important. Last is, and not a very, very critical point for you, if you have to check yourself that are you ready, are you prepared for promotion, is leveraging metrics. So a lot of people claim that I have all kind of a data, I get all kind of a report, I know my team, I know what's happening around. But really, are we able to leverage those metrics? Are we really able to make sense out of the data? Can we really make it work? So using the data to prove your impact on team management, for team engagement and management, for example. So this is very, very critical. Many a times we forget to promote ourselves in front of our leadership. We just send some data, some information, but is this data connects you to and demonstrate your leadership skills? So this is very, very important things. I think these are 3 pointers. I just wanted to keep it simple. So audit your skills, seek that how you can learn multiple things, multiple functions from your current role. And the last is how do you leverage your metrics and present yourself in the best possible manner. This is how I think you can judge whether you are ready today or you need to spend a couple of more quarters to prepare yourself better, maybe in early 2027, if not 2026. So that's all about it, my friends. Thank you so much. I just wanted to talk about these 5 quintessential skills and then how to prepare yourself for promotion. So last one slide is basically thanks for watching. Please feel free to contact me. You can write to me, explore@productivagroup.com. You can always visit our website, which is productivagroup.com. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for watching us. Have a good day.